Alright, y'all. I'm back with another one. In-depth analysis, volume 3. Today's featured character is none other than Lord Voldemort from the Harry Potter franchise. This is my guy, Lord Voldemort, aka Tom Riddle, aka the Dark Lord, aka who must not be named, aka you know who. We all know who the fuck this is, the Dark Lord. Now, let me start off by saying this off top, because I don't think I ever really do this. I don't know why I should. But spoilers for the whole Harry Potter franchise. Now, this get deep. I did Jigsaw and Candyman already. Check them out. Link in description below. But now, we finna go to my guy, Lord Voldemort. Now, I gotta say another thing about this. I'm strictly going off of the movies. When the books came out, I was about 17. I wasn't into that. I was into, know what I'm saying, trying to hang out with the guys, get a couple females, get fresh, go to work. Books is always great, no doubt. But I wasn't into no damn child's book when I was 17. I got into the movies coincidentally. We was having a rummage sale and my wife's cousin brought a whole bunch of DVDs over for us to sell them. So that was gonna be part of our rummage sale. And when I looked through them, I'm like seeing what's like, are these even gonna sell at the rummage sale? But then I came across Harry Potter and it was like all 7 or all 8 of them. So I'm like, whoa, hold on. I'm bored. Let me check these out. I ain't know nothing about Harry Potter. I ain't know nothing about the lore or nothing. I heard about him through pop culture, but it wasn't like he's somebody who I was looking for. So when I popped it in, the first one, Philosopher's Stone, or, you know what I'm saying, whatever they want to call it in England, when I watched it, I was hooked. The Wizarding World, all of that. I was hooked. It was lovely. Harry Potter, the nonsense scar Voldemort gave him, I was hooked. I watched all the movies in basically 1 or 2 nights, and I became like a fanatic like I am over sports or horror movies. And this dude, he might be the worst horror villain of all time. Like, he have no qualms about killing anybody. Babies, grown-ups, teenagers, it don't matter. But I don't want to even start off and go way ahead of myself. Let me back this up real quick, because this lore is so deep. I would have to, if you don't know about Harry Potter, I'm going to do another video about the whole history of Harry Potter, because it's going to be things I bring up that are relevant for what I'm saying, but if you don't get the full-fledged of the franchise, you ain't gonna get the context. This universe is a wizarding world, so it's fictional, it's fantasy, it's for kids and grown-ups. A kid watching it, they seeing all the Fantastic Beasts, the potions, they seeing the broomsticks, they seeing the kid perspective. But if you watch as an adult, you seeing the politics, the grown aspects, the killing, the plotting, all of that. They got things like love potions that could be considered the R word. I ain't gonna say making somebody do things against their will for you. If you got an interest in a female or a man, whatever it may be, you slip them that potion, they yours for eternity. Then they got Veritaserum where you can slip that little drink in somebody's potion. I mean, they basically tell you all their secrets. Like, this universe got. It's a wizarding movie. It got spells. It got curses. All of that. The unforgivable curses. The 3. You know what I'm saying? All those things I'm going to get to when the time is right. But I'm going to start off by saying, I'm going to give you a little backstory about the love potion, because I just brought it up real quick in a ramble. The love potion is basically a potion you give to somebody who you normally wouldn't be able to get with. Like me. If I gave the love potion to Beyonce, she would leave Jay-Z and marry me and come to me and be everything I want her to be, or whoever you thinking you want. That's what the love potion does. This is basically against their will, though. It wouldn't be like I gave a potion to Beyonce and she really loved me. That's what the potion does. And that's where I'm coming into Voldemort, because if you have a child with this spell being a part of it, the child will never know love. So that was the first origins of Voldemort's evil. His mother was Merrippy Riddle / Gaunt. That is a prestigious family in the wizarding world. The era Slytherin, all of them come from that family. It's like a power prestige family. And her father and brother were very proud, heirs of Slytherin. So they and Merrippy Gaunt was basically like it's a word that they got for this, where the wizards, it's like a squib sort of, where you born to wizarding parents, but your powers is you don't have wizarding powers. So that's kind of how she was, kind of like, I don't want to say schizophrenic, but she was kind of slow for a wizard. So she was infatuated with Voldemort's father, which is Tom Riddle Sr. He was a muggle. Muggle, let me say that real quick. A muggle is a non-magic person. Like, wizards are wizards and witches, and muggles are normal humans with no magical wizarding power. So Tom Riddle was a normal muggle man, but his family was in Great Britain, obviously, and they was rich, though. So she was infatuated with him. Every time she see Tom Riddle on this little horse, pretty little motherfucker running around on this horse, he was arrogant. Everything she liked, but she knew in her real mind, he would never see her as a suitable wife or suitable anything. She was hideous from how they make her look in the books. And he was a pretty boy. So she came up with the concoction plan of, if I give him the love potion, I'm going to get him. That's what she do, Mary P. Gaunt. She give the love potion to Tom Riddle. They fall in love. Bam, have a baby, which is Tom Riddle's junior, who later became Lord Voldemort. He was born under a spell of love potion, which means he will never know love because it was a fugazi love situation. So when his mom felt, I got the husband, I got the baby, I'm going to stop giving him love potion and see if he really loved me. He was disgusted that happened to him, and I understand why. That was against his will. The same thing, it'd be way worse if a man did this to a woman. Way more despicable. It's despicable either way, but that's the backstory with Voldemort's parents. He left her alone with the child, was disgusted, never went to see her again. His mind wasn't thinking, I got a son. His mind was just thinking, I'm disgusted with the whole situation. She basically died of a broken heart, and that's when Voldemort, I'm going to call him Tom Riddle until he become Voldemort. Tom Riddle was sent to an orphanage where he was raised up into his years of coming to the wizarding school. It's so much I can get into. Dumbledore, the Ministry of Magic, the just everything about the wizarding world. I'm gonna try to get into it, but I don't want to. I gotta get into it, obviously, but I don't want to overdo the wizarding world to overshadow Voldemort. But without some of the context, you won't get what I mean when I'm saying certain things about him, because I might say something about a particular potion or a broomstick, and you're like, where the fuck that come from? So I'm gonna bring up a lot of the lore of the history as I'm going through the story of Voldemort, because this dude, he's serious. And I know it's a lot of differences from the movies and the books. The movies, he don't got the red eyes. His body and stuff is snake-like in the movie, but it was more deformative in the books because he was a handsome guy, and they see the transformation. They know something was going on with him, but they didn't know what exactly. Even the smartest wizards didn't have a clue what he was going through, his transformation with Horcruxes. See, a Horcrux is something, you kill somebody, and you could put the part of your soul in any kind of inanimate object to secure your lifespan. Meaning if your body is killed, you got a Horcrux out there, you still gonna live on to a certain extent. Voldemort did this 7 times. So his soul was split into 7 pieces. So he not only was evil, he never was going to have the feeling of being a complete person. Just power and envy and rage and power. More power. Now let's go. Excuse me. Voldemort. I'm sorry I said Tom Riddle, but it's going to be Voldemort, the Dark Lord, whatever. He got a lot of nicknames. This guy grew up in an orphanage. The thing about the wizarding world from a normal world, you go to K4, K5, 4 or 5 years old. From 4 years old in normal world, you go to school, into high school or college, wherever you want to go past that. But in the wizarding world, you are homeschooled until you about 10 or 11, your first year at the magical school. And this particular school is called Hogwarts. In other parts of Britain and other parts of the world, it's Durmstrang. It's other countries that got their own wizarding world. But for this purpose of this video, we focusing on Hogwarts, because that's where the Harry Potter franchise is basically every scene, mostly from the books and movies, is there. And when he was a young boy, he went on a trip with his orphanage to some kind of like mysterious cave and some sightseeings. And even as a young boy, 8 or 9, he could talk to snakes. He had certain powers that he knew wasn't normal, but he terrified them kids, and they basically was shocked in the brain for the rest of their life. So you see he's evil. And then in the flashback in one of the movies, Dumbledore, the great Dumbledore, is like the head master of the wizarding school. He goes to see Tom because at this point, he's not the headmaster in Tom Riddle's youth. He became the headmaster in Harry Potter years and stuff like that. But at this point, he's like second in command to Master Dibbit, and he basically the recruiter. He go out to, if he finds some magical powers, he feel it in the air or whatever. However they do it to find new wizards in the world, he comes across Tom Riddle. He goes to the orphanage. He talking to him, and he realizing this little boy got a lot of power, but he also don't want to like stymie him to where he like automatically turn him evil. But he could see talking to the boy, which is Tom Riddle. He bullying the kids. He's stealing from the kids. And the worst thing he can do that's even rare in the wizarding world is parcel mouth, which means the snake language. You could speak to snakes and you can talk in their language. That is very rare even in the wizarding world. And he got all of the powers that says he could potentially be the heir of Slytherin. And when I say the heir of Slytherin, sometimes throughout that means the forefathers of Hogwarts. Ravenclaw, Renaval Ravenclaw, Salazar Slytherin, Renego Hufflepuff, and then we got the great Gryffindor. Those are the 4 founders of Hogwarts. All of them are great, powerful wizards of their era, and they all got different critiques and different standards to what they want their house to be. When you Gryffindor, you brave, you honest, you courageous, you know what I'm saying? You kind of cocky. That's what they want. If you Hufflepuff, she just want all the students that the other 3 headmasters didn't want. So if you less talented or you pudgy or fat or something people may tease you for, she taking them all. She humble as it get. I don't care. If y'all don't, whatever y'all don't, this how she felt. Whoever y'all don't want, I'll take. When it comes to Slytherin, they are pure bloods. It's like a real race thing with them. Pure blood mean both of your parents are magical wizards and witches. Half blood mean one of your parents is wizard or witch. Muggle mean neither one of your parents is magical like Hermione, but she has it. And so Hufflepuff is those kind of people. They'll take anybody. Slytherin, pure bloods. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they go. That's how they work. Ravenclaw, she just wants the most smart intellectual students possible. Half-blood, muggle, or whatever. That's just the backstory to them. So as Dumbledore done meeting young Tom Riddle, he like, fam, that stealing stuff you doing, torturing, that ain't gonna be allowed at Hogwarts. We gonna teach you how to hone your skills to become a great wizard in the future. So he like, yeah, okay, I'm good with that. So as Dumbledore leaving, like, we gonna come pick you up and send for you when school start. He like, there's one more thing I gotta tell you. I can talk to snakes. Dumbledore like pauses, like, he don't show no major emotion, but we know that means something, and it come out later. So now we finna go to Tom Riddle's younger years in Hogwarts, from his 1st to 6th year. He was basically ahead of his class and everything. The thing about Tom would make a dark wizard, to me, a little more powerful than a straight wizard. A straight wizard ain't going to the restriction side of the library. They not thinking about dark arts or Horcruxes or things like that. So to be honest, they knowledge, it's like a smart white person who don't have no idea of any other culture or history. That's how a good wizard is compared to a dark wizard, where they want to know about all the good curses, all the good spells, and all the bad and negative spells. And when it comes to somebody like Voldemort, he was an orphan, so he longed for family, to know where he's from. So he studied the restriction area to find out what was his father? Was his father a wizard? What was his mother? So once he started finding out he part of the Slytherin family, the Gaunt family, that's when he get into his mind, I knew I was special. I knew I was somebody bigger than everybody else. Because intellectually, he was already smarter than everybody in his class. I think he was a prefect his third or fourth year. A prefect is basically like head body of the student council, a top student who basically chaperone the students around, you know what I'm saying, give them tours. He like the head boy, where he the head of the class. He controlled them. And he had a cult of personality and likability, where it's a thing called occlumency, where you can read people's mind and you can shield your mind from being read. Him and Snape are two of the best in the Harry Potter franchise of doing that, concealing what they really think and getting into your mind. Like I said, there's a bunch of stuff I can bring up, and I'm going to bring up when it's important. But that's just to say that he had the intuition even as 14, 15, 16 to get into grown men wizards who highly talented. Aurors. Auror is basically like an FBI agent, a top wizard and police type of guy. He know how to get into people's mind to know what they thinking. He had a favorite professor from Slytherin was I can't believe I can't get his name out. I might think of it in 2 minutes and coming out. But Slughorn. Slughorn was his favorite professor. He was a Slytherin professor. He would just know in his mind he liked pineapples. I'm going to bring him pineapples today. Or whatever. He just was smart. He wasn't completely evil at this point. You know what I'm saying? He just was like, he wanted to be Minister of Magic, which is like the president of the Wizarding world. But he also had desires to never die because he was scared of death. You know what I'm saying? But back to what I was saying earlier, when it came to his past, once he found out he was part of the era Slytherin and the Gaunt family, that's when he started feeling like a god complex. Like, he always was arrogant and smart, but now when he found that out, that made him say, you know what? I really am better than everybody. So then he started going on a quest for Horcruxes, which I explained earlier. First, he wanted to be Defense Against the Dark Arts professor at Hogwarts. Master Dibbit turned him down because he thought he was too young. Normally, you got to be out of school 5 years and be experienced. He wanted to do it after his 6 year of school, which is graduation. That'd be like a senior get out of high school, and then he wants the principal to hire him as a teacher right away. That just don't happen. Get a little more profession, get a little more skills, and then come back. He was like, fuck that, I ain't want to wait. So he was like, fuck school, all that. He went to like Albania or something just to like find himself. You know what I'm saying? Do things. Hold on, I'm wrong about that. He said fuck the school, being a professor, and start working at Borgin and Burke's, which is like a witchcraft and wizard, dark arts type of store. It's like basically like a taboo pawn shop where you can find dark artifacts, good artifacts, old artifacts, just classic historic things, good and evil. He wanted to work there under Borgin and Burke's to get information, learn about things, and expand his horizon. Once he did that for a few years, doing his researches, he came across, a few people in his life who had heirlooms, like old iconic heirlooms, like Ravenclaw's tiara, or the chain Salazar Slytherin, the locket, the ring. These are things that he turned into Horcruxes and put his soul in the future. So after he worked there a few years, he went off the grid to Albania. That's when he met Professor Quirrell, who was just a bumbling professor who wanted to learn about dark arts and learn more about Voldemort to help his studies in his classes. Voldemort latched on to him, and I'll get to that later. I ain't even brought up Harry Potter yet because it ain't even relevant. But yeah, so as he's gaining his powers and learning things through years and years of practicing, he started making Horcruxes. Now, the books got way more information about people he killed, things he did during these years that the movies just can't fit into a 2-3 hour. Even if a movie 3 hours, it can't fit into fucking 4,000 pages of a book. So they cut some of that things out. So like I said, I ain't read the books. I did a little Google search here and there, so I know about them by now. But I'm not gonna get into that. I'm only going to Voldemort from the movies. So after he get off, I'm going strictly past all that. Now he got his Horcruxes. Now people start seeing a change. Like I said, in the books, his face is looking scaly. He ain't pretty as he used to be. His eyes are red. He cloaked in hoods. Like, people who know him thinking he weird. But people who good, like Dumbledore and Mad-Eye Moody, they know, yeah, this dude different. So he's accumulating followers and believers throughout the years, you know what I'm saying? He's accumulating his army, trolls, werewolves, grayback, you know what I'm saying? All the misfits, giants. He getting an army to take over the whole wizarding world, basically. He wanted to be pure blood. Like I said, it got a lot of race aspects where full bloods, half bloods, muggles, all of them got different classifications. Elves are basically slaves, where they basically they gotta work for the wizards. They ain't slaves because I think that slaves wasn't happy. These elves are kind of built to do this. So he accumulating his army. It's deep. He got every kind of dark wizard. All these powerful, full-blooded families are following him. They believe in him. I ain't bring up Grindelwald because he was the first Dark Lord. He didn't consider himself a Dark Lord. He just wanted the wizarding world to be equal and not have to hide from the muggles, which is normal humans. But Dumbledore even agreed with some of his ideas, and he the most humble, goodest wizard of all time. So that tells you Grindelwald wasn't even as evil. He turned evil, but his ideas wasn't as evil as Voldemort. Now we get into Harry Potter. The prophecy said it's gonna be a wizard come out here who'll take your ass out if you don't take him out. They born at the end of July, when July dies. So he looking at who from the Order of Phoenix is like basically the undercover good guys to go against the Dark Lord. He looking at families who denied his advances or denied joining the cause for him more than twice. It comes down to two families. The Neville Longbottoms, and the Potters. He could have chose Neville Longbottom family, and that would have been Harry Potter. The movie would have been Neville Longbottom and the Philosopher's Stone, Neville Longbottom and the Deathly Hallows, but he told Bellatrix, which is his main squeeze / #1 lieutenant, next to the House of Black, whatever. Anyways, Lucius Malfoy. He told her, go torture the Longbottoms and turn their mind crazy to make them go to the crazy house. That's why Neville grew up with his grandma. And he personally went to take on the Potters. When it comes to Potters, I'm going to just slide through the Potters real quick. Lily and James Potter weren't even friends like that. She grew up with Severus Snape. He was a nice, dark type of wizard, but he was humble, nice. When they got split up from Slytherin to Gryffindor, that strained their relationship, and James had all the end go to get at her because he in the same house with her. They got closer through the years, even though he was an asshole bully. I'm going to be honest. I never liked James compared to Harry. That might not even be controversial. He was a son of a bitch. He was a mean, arrogant, grew up rich. Everything you don't want a motherfucker to be, he was. So I really didn't even give a fuck when James died. Lily different. She was humble. She liked all four houses. She wasn't a bully. She only motherfucker who liked Snape. That's just a little backstory for them. I might have to do something about them so y'all know about them more. The Marauders was, Lupin, Sirius Black, Peter Pettigrew the Rat, and James. Them was four friends all from Hogwarts school who all went to Gryffindor. They was best friends, grew up together from 11 to 20 till they all died, whatever. They was buddies. They made a map called the Marauders where they can map out the whole Hogwarts ground and know everything. And those dudes was smart, brilliant, all four of them. I like all of them. As the Marauders, what they was doing, they was animagi, which is you can turn into an animal. Those dudes with the guys. That's just a little small backstory. Like I said, this lore too deep to talk about Voldemort without getting into other stuff because there's so much connected to him. So anyways, like I said, he sent his main Squeeze Bellatrix to take out the Longbottoms while he took on the Potters. He get there, kill James immediately. You dead. I don't care about him. He tell Lily, listen, give me the boy and I'll let you live. She like, fam, I'm not giving you my son. You got to kill me. But before she did that, she put a love spell over Harry to where no weapon formed against him should prosper. So after Lord Voldemort killed Lily, the effect is in effect to Harry. So this is what I was saying about Candyman when I said in my in-depth analysis about him. I don't know if he wanted to kill the little boy. This would take Voldemort to another level from anybody. Every time they say a person a killer, they always kill teenagers or grown-ups. This nigga didn't give a fuck. He tried to kill a baby. Harry was about 5 or 6 months. That's why he got the iconic Thunderbolt scar on his face. Voldemort abracadavered his little ass like a baby. That tell you, dude don't give no fuck. He tried to kill a baby. I'm looking at this like, this a wizard movie? This for kids? I hope they ain't interpreting this like I did. This nigga savage. That's when I knew. Yeah, he different. He a savage. So anyways, when Lily put the love potion over him, that vanquished him. He was gone for like the next 10 years. Harry, they took Harry off to his family, his only surviving family. Harry grew up in the Dursleys' house. I ain't even finna get all into Harry backstory and all that. It was terrible. You know, if you don't, you don't. So now we've transformed 10, 11 years later. Harry 11 years old. In his world, he in the muggle world, he a nobody and he getting bullied because his mom and sister wasn't eye to eye. She got to raise him, so she really a bitch to Harry. They got him in a cupboard closet. They got this fat ass son, Dursley. I mean, it's just terrible. Harry goes to the wizard world, though. He coming from James and Lily. He coming from the Potters is a rich family ancestors themselves. So when he get there, they like, oh my God, Harry, they on his dick. Harry don't know why, but it's this big ass half giant Hagrid. It's like the exposition for the first movie. He explaining to him Voldemort, the backstory, all this. And me as a new fan watching the Philosopher's Stone, I'm taking it in like, damn, that happened. Woo woo. They showed a little slide flashback where Voldemort went in there and tried to kill Harry. And I'm like, I'm deep in this. This is only the first movie. I'm deep into it. So throughout the years, Voldemort just scheming. Every movie, he got a plan. For one, Philosopher's Stone. The two, I think, is the Eris. I can't believe I ain't finna even try to name them all. I know what they are. You know what I'm saying? The Chamber of Secrets. Then they got the 3 is the Prisoner of Azkaban. He break out Sirius, and they find out plot twist. He a good guy. My favorite, Goblet of the Fire. 5, Order of Phoenix. 6 is When Dumbledore Die, Half-Blood Prince. 7 and 8 is The Deathly Hallows. Every last one of these movies good. I always say in franchises, you do a bad one. And I think the bad one for me, I can't say that. I'm going to be honest. I like them all equally. My favorite is 4. People may say 2, the Chamber of Secrets. But my first viewing of every movie, that was my favorite. On reviews, it became Goblet of Fire. But I can't say none of these movies bad. I'm being honest. I don't count the Fantastic Beasts. Them all trash. But the Harry Potter, all them movies, them dope. Back to Voldemort. Like I said when I named all 7 movies, every movie he got some kind of devious plan. He got some kind of demonic plan to kill Harry. Every movie. Ron and Hermione, I ain't even bring them up because they ain't even, it's about Voldemort. They are Harry's best friends. They smart. They help him throughout all the movies. They vanquish him in the end. But overall, Voldemort is just an evil entity. And then what make him bulletproof is the Horcrux aspect. Because for years, People, first of all, thought he was dead. His followers never believed that. I don't even know if they was fully aware of his Horcruxes, but they never thought he was gone for good because they call him the Dark Lord. Lord means you can't die. They just felt like he too powerful for death. You know what I'm saying? It took certain things where Peter Pettigrew brought him back, certain rituals. But Voldemort, I'm going to probably wrap this up pretty soon. I'm going to have to do a part 2 for this guy because I got to get some more backstory and lore out. But Voldemort, he was overall a victim of life circumstances, being brought into the world from a love potion, not having love from his parents. I think even if he was brought in from a love potion, I think J.K. Rowling, the author and creator of this franchise, said it. Even though he was born with no feeling of love, if he was raised in a loving family, that could have affected him in a different way. And I buy that completely because if you're born in a love potion and then you don't see love in your whole life and you intellectually smart with a God complex, this gets you Voldemort. I'm not making it like he could have been hairy or nothing or just totally honest and honorable, because I ain't totally honest and honorable. I got some demons in me where a motherfucker pissed me off. I'm on some Voldemort shit, so I get that. But I also think if he was raised with his family or foster parents or any like the Weasley family, if they would have raised somebody like Voldemort, dude would have had a different aspect on life. But overall, he got a body count. I ain't even get. It's like I can keep going, but I need to cut it. Dude, body count, I don't even know. You know he got a more than 7 because them all his Horcruxes. But dude ordered so many killings. He got so many killings in the book that they don't even touch on in the movies. He don't care if you grown. He don't care if you kid. He don't care if you a prostitute. He don't care if you a fucking baby. This is the guy. Evil at its core. Never was tampered down. Never was shown love. Always was shown suspicion. Even Dumbledore never really loved him. He just was suspicious of him the whole time. Nobody showed him, I love you. I like you. His followers was kind of scared and fearful, even as a young boy, because he was so much more powerful than them. He had powers of a teacher or a professor in his 3rd and 4th year. They high school goes 6 years, unlike American 4. So in your 3rd year would be like a sophomore, but you on a level of a teacher. Like this dude, like his evil aspects, it's no chill. It's no redeeming factors. This is just evil. But when I say evil, it's kind of like, you could say Hitler. Maybe if he grew up in a loving family, mom and dad didn't die early, he had a philosophy of the world where he could think things his way, but he was tampered and controlled more, he had been different. You could say that to Voldemort, because I think J.K. admitted she used some aspects of Hitler's personality and cult personality and mixed it into Voldemort. But yeah, I can't say Hitler was worse because Hitler killed kids and in the camps and stuff. That's the same thing Voldemort's ultimate goal was. Absolution. He wanted it to be only wizards. Like,